Right, Simon, I've only just opened this up, but I'm going to show you my workflow. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with this photograph at the moment, but I'm looking at it and there's quite a lot of whites and quite a lot of dark areas. These are the darks, these are the blacks, and these are the highlights up here. First thing I'd probably do was probably lower the contrast a little bit, just so I can see what colour I have. I will saturate it ever so slightly and bring up some vibrance to see if there's any colour. There is some colour here. There's lots of colour in here, and there's lots of colour along here. Not really quite sure about that. Okay, so basically what you want to do with the whites is you want to reduce them down. So what you're doing is you're reducing this part. You could pick this up. You can pick it up here, and you'll see that this slider's changing down here. So you can do it either way. So normally a lot of images come up with, most cameras will shoot so the white is right here. You don't really need that. What you want to do is recover your highlight back down a little bit, and also go to your shadow, which is going to be around here and here, and just pull them out and just punch them out. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm making more of a mountain in the middle. You don't want too much white, you don't want too much black, especially if I was to make an HDR style. What you want to do is have as much information around the middle of the histogram and not towards the edges. So by doing this, what you can do is you can bring up your contrast a little bit, but not so these go too far. So you can take out your blacks and bring back your whites. And so what else would I do? I would probably up the clarity a little bit. I think it's aligned, I'm not quite sure. I would straighten it up a little bit. I'd also question your thirds, but I'm not going to worry about that too much at the moment. Okay, so another thing I would do is I'd go to this brush and I would use a sort of like a one stop low down. Sorry, minus one stop. Have a reasonably good feather on it and a low flow, and you just paint the top of this. Make your clouds slightly punchier. You might want to increase the contrast a little bit on there. And every time you go over it, just make them a little bit dark. And down here as well. And then you go to a new brush. On a new brush, and just contrast. Right, I don't normally do tutorials, so I don't normally talk so much. So let's you may want to just use a complete graduated filter on this anyway. Not with this, but with this. Not quite sure whether this is working, but I don't think what you should do is paint new clouds in. They look a bit false. Well, what this is doing is keeping the original image. So if we scroll down here in your history, you can actually go back to the very original image that you started with, and you can see in here, obviously it's the navigation, you can see all the changes that you've done. That's what I love about Lightroom. And you click on it, and I haven't actually played with any of these pixels. All I've done is boosted them or adjusted them. It's still keeping all the same pixels. Whereas in Photoshop, every time you adjust a layer, you kind of, it's a patchwork. I don't really like it. But one thing I would say about this, there's not a lot of colour in this image, and I would possibly, let's just make this a colour version. So I've just made a snapshot of that, and now I can carry on playing with it. I would consider making it black and white, because you've got reasonably good range now. Maybe make it darker. If you made it darker, you might even be able to lift up the some of these areas here, make them a little bit stronger. But you've got the essence of a good image. Yeah, that's enough for now.